As the great Samuel L. Jackson once said, hold on to your butts, because cards are a thing. Welcome back to the Reign of Shane. So, as I mentioned before, here we are. We're on this journey. I'm trying to use the tools that I've always used in the past, and cards been happening this whole time back behind me in the background. And so now I'm looking. I'm going out looking, hitting my local area really good, and we're gonna take a trip to go see my mom. And my wife and I were talking about it, and I'm like, you know what? Let's stop. Let's take some stops on the way down. So it's about a 3-hour drive, and there's one, two, three. There's 3 Walmarts on the way down there. A new basketball product had just come out, so I'm hoping that maybe I can find one or two or whatever, so we make our first stop, and the vendor's there. And I'm like, holy crap, this has never happened to me before. I've never seen a vendor. If you're watching this now and you know how things are nowadays, it's a limit. You can only get X amount every time that you're there, and even if you do find a vendor or see a vendor at the store, you can only get 2. But this was no limit, you guys. And there's the vendor. So I'm standing there, and then a girl shows up, and then another guy shows up, and another guy shows up, and so there's 4 of us there. I'm like, holy smokes. They're putting out the new basketball product. I'm gonna be able to get a good handful of stuff. Like, this is crazy. And these guys, they're thinking the same thing. That we're splitting stuff up evenly, and I kind of peek over the corner of my eyes, and I'm like, oh man, there's baseball. I'm a big baseball fan. I'm a soccer fan as well, but big baseball fan. I'm like, oh man, there's older baseball. So grab that. Nobody seems to say boo about it. And then I see an older box of football. I'm like, oh man, I'd love to take that. And I grab it, and I'm like, I'm gonna take this one, and then you guys can have some extra basketball if that's okay. And they're like, yeah, whatever. So check out. Dang. I get back to the car. Honey, dude, we hit it. We just hit big, tons. Just hit tons of stuff. Let's keep stopping. Let's keep going. So go an hour on down the road, stop at the next one, and the shelves are full. This time it's of a new football product that I didn't even know was coming out today. I was like, oh man. So get a good handful of that. Dang, we're just cruising. Go to the next one. Another hour down the road and nothing. And it's like, well, you know, it is what it is. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. And I mean, that's just part of the game. And so we get some sodas, crackers, or whatever, and we go around to the self-checkout area, and no joke, there is new football cards that are sitting there that somebody had grabbed and then decided that they didn't want it or something. So we ended up getting cards there. So we are making this trip down, and we hit on every single stop on the way down there. And so the trunk of the car is just loaded with cards, and I can't believe it. It's like, what luck. This is going to be absolutely amazing. I mean, this is going to be great. And we're just riding that high of finding stuff, and then we get to my mom's. She's still at work. I was like, you know what, babe, let's go ahead and we'll open. We're going to open a couple boxes of cards, and then, you know, do what we need to do with the rest of it. So the first box that we opened is the older football box, and it is 2017 Donruss. And I, for the life of me, do not know why Patrick Mahomes escaped my mind, but he did. And I'm like, hey, maybe we'll get like a Christian McCaffrey, or I don't know. Hopefully there's like McCaffrey. Aaron Jones, I think, was in that rookie class, and hopefully we can get that. And so she's opening the box. I'm opening the baseball box, one of the baseball boxes that we got. And she's like, so I got a rated rookie. I'm like, oh, sweet. Heck yeah, we got a rookie. Who is it? Patrick Mahomes. What? Come again. She's like, yeah, Patrick Mahomes. unfreaking real. I bought that box for $10. And she pulls a stinking Patrick Mahomes rookie card out of it. I just couldn't believe it. Couldn't fathom that had just happened. Like, oh my gosh, that's at that point in time, that card, I mean, we spent $10 on that box, and that card was worth, in the condition that it's in, raw, non-graded, it's worth, I don't know, $300, $250, just bananas. Couldn't believe it. So, all right. So, set that aside and opening baseball box, and she's like, oh, hey, I got an auto. Oh, hey, heck yeah, you're not guaranteed autos and everything, and especially in retail products, you're not guaranteed to get autographs. Like, who is it? And she's like, Eloy Jimenez. And number one, that hurt because the Cubs had traded Eloy the year previous to the White Sox, those dirty Southsiders. Sorry for you White Sox fans, but I'm like, oh man, Eloy's a freaking bomb. He is blowing up. And it's an on-card autograph that is numbered to 15. Just absolutely baffling. And again, that was a 2019 set. This is 2020 when we're getting this, so it's older box. It was on a clearance shelf. I'm like, oh my gosh, those two cards just paid for everything that we had purchased on the way down, and we haven't even started to look into trying to hustle the rest of the cards that we had. It's just this mind-boggling, just absolutely stunned. And so my mom gets back and she's like, what the heck happened in here? There's wrappers from cards that we had opened. And I was like, and so I started telling her that sports cards are a thing. Like, it's not that they weren't always a thing, but they are making a huge comeback. The pandemic has really blossomed sports cards into a new thing. And she's like, well, I guess it's probably time that we start looking at some of your dad's cards and seeing what they're worth. All right. And guys, I remember getting cards with my dad. There was something that we did all the time. He would buy packs of Upper Deck, and I would get hoops, or I would get Upper Deck, Donruss, Tops, and my mom just starts pulling out boxes and boxes and boxes and boxes. And immediately everything that I remember of my childhood just hit. I was like, oh my gosh. My dad had bought completed sets on his own. At that time, cards were huge, absolutely huge. This was right before there was a massive overprinting issue for sports cards there for a while. And this was right before that. And my dad was just like, this is going to be a thing. Sports cards is going to be a thing. I'm going to be able to retire on some of these cards. And so we start going through it. And I remember Dad was really big into Oral Hershiser. So he had a lot of Oral Hershiser. His absolutely most favorite player was Nolan Ryan. And the amount of Nolan Ryan variations, cards that he has are just incredible. And it was such an amazing trip down memory lane, and I could feel what my dad was wanting to accomplish in that time. It was something that he enjoyed doing, but also was trying to build a future with sports cards as well. And it was so crazy that this chunk of time had passed between when I was opening these cards with my dad. We were sitting in the living room opening these cards. I remember pulling out that Michael Jordan White Sox card when he was playing baseball. I remember pulling this Nolan Ryan card with my dad. I remember going to the sports card shop and picking up that Barry Sanders rookie, that Troy Aikman rookie with my dad. And just the thought process that was going through his head was like, this is going to be a thing. This is a thing. And some of those cards retained value, gained value really well, and some of them didn't. But to see all that circle back around and come to where I'm at now, and using sports cards, that I am opening sports cards with my kids, with my son and my daughter and my wife. I don't know how I got my wife to do it, but she's in it. She's into it. She's in it to win it now, folks. Was just absolutely amazing. And you just, sometimes you kind of forget some of those things. And it was great to get those emotions, to get those feels coming back, and to remember or speculate what my dad's intent was, and talking to my mom and what she thought his intent was at that time. And it was great. Just absolutely awesome and amazing. The feels, you guys, the feels. So I want to thank you so much for watching this video. And I want to thank all of you that have already clicked join now. But I also want to plead that you would go to thereignofshane.com and click that join now button if you haven't already. And I'm going to put a link in the comment section in this video so you don't miss out on videos. So you can get the next tips and tricks video or any other updates that we're doing here on The Reign of Shane. Again, thank you so much for those that have joined, and I thank you in advance for those that are going to join. Stay safe, you guys.